Welcome back to the USTA National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, New York. We've got a beautiful September afternoon. And still to come, the second men's semifinal. Defending champ Patrick Rafter against top seed Pete Sampras. One of the most compelling storylines at the Open is Pete Sampras' attempt to win his 12th Grand Slam tournament, which would tie him with Roy Emerson for the all-time record. Now, in Beyond the Baseline, a look at Emerson, Sampras, and their respective places in history.
CBS Sports presents Beyond the Baseline, sponsored by American Express, delivering you the best service on and off the court.
They call him Emo, the fit and fun-loving Australian who won more Grand Slam singles titles than anyone, 12 in all. It's a record that has stood the test of time.
Did you expect that you would hold that record for so many years, more than 30 years?
No, it never occurred to me, and we didn't put a lot of emphasis on, how many we won. We tried to do well in the, in the Grand Slams, mainly to try and, get a better pro offer.
This year, while Roy Emerson plays in the doubles Masters tournament here, Pete Sampras is on the same grounds, just 2 matches away from tying Emo's record. Breaking Roy Emerson's record is not Pete's favorite topic these days. Uncomfortable talking about his place in history, Sampras has tried repeatedly to keep the focus on tennis.
The way I look at the record is just a it's just pretty much a number. If it happens, it happens. If not, I certainly am not any sort of panicking by any means. I certainly would love to break the record one day.
If and when he does, Roy Emerson will lead the applause.
It's nice to have a nice guy like Pete break the record, and I think it'll be great for the youngsters to, in the States and all around the world, to emulate Pete, because he's got a great game, and I wish him luck.
How many more do you think he can win?
He's 27. He's got a lot more left in him. A lot more.
And he's just 2 away from another one. And just moments ago, Pete Sampras and Patrick Rafter walked out into Arthur Ashe Stadium. Patrick?
Well, an interesting thing to remember about this match is Sampras holds an 8-2 career edge over Rafter, but Rafter has beaten every top 10 opponent he's played this year. That's 10 players. Sampras' only first top 10 win he had was over Kuchera. So that gives Rafter a little bit of an edge maybe in this one. But I think Pete Sampras, as we saw from that piece with Emo, he's got his sights set on making history. And I think he's just going to be able to nip by Patrick Rafter today.
If you're Rafter, though, what is the strategy? How do you wear Pete down?
Well, he's going to try to serve and volley effectively. He's going to try to work over Sampras' backhand and try to sneak out a break on Sampras. I don't think there's going to be that many breaks in this match. And I think Rafter is moving so well. He's volleying well. But he's going to have to continue to attack. And he's going to have to hope that Pete gives him a chance here or there on the return. And he can pull it through.
We are moments away from this much-anticipated matchup. The top seed, Pete Sampras, against the defending champion, Patrick Rafter.
Last year, Patrick Rafter realized a dream, his first Grand Slam tournament title. Now he's focused on number 2, but it isn't going to be easy. In his way, the best in the game, Pete Sampras has been collecting Grand Slam victories his whole career. His win at Wimbledon put him within 1 of the all-time record, and now he's in search of history. Coming up, 2 champions playing for the right to move on. Welcome back to Super Saturday on CBS, and so far the tennis has indeed been super. We are set for the second men's semifinal. Pete Sampras against Patrick Rafter. Time now to send you over to Arthur Ashe Stadium for the call. Bill McAtee, John McEnroe, and Mary Carrillo.
All right, Andrea, thank you very much. And Mary Carrillo, the quest for history continues. Big stop today for Pete Sampras.
Oh, no kidding. He won his 5th Wimbledon earlier this summer. He's already won 2 Australian Opens. Now he's going after his 5th U.S. Open title. Very, very close to matching Roy Emerson just 2 matches away, and all that stuff really makes a big difference to Pete Sampras. He's always been very big on this kind of stuff, and boy, he certainly is close. This could this could do it.
Well, Pete was asked recently about Patrick Rafter, this budding rivalry, and here's what he had to say. The biggest difference between the two.
10 Grand Slams. No, but as far as our games, it's I was being a smart there, but it was a funny game.
Pete looking very comfortable. These two actually played about a month ago in Cincinnati, John.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, Bill, that's turned it around, made Rafter believe he can do this. He had lost 8 straight times. Then he goes to Cincinnati. They're playing in the finals there. This is match point. Pete's not happy with this call, I can guarantee you that, but he got the call and finally broke an 8-match losing streak. The other thing, he's happy to be in the semis. Defending champ. No one had ever lost in the first round. Pete Sampras looking around in disbelief. I can relate to that. Then when he played Hisham Maratzi, he's down 2 sets, 3-all, couple break points in the first round. He didn't want to have the dubious distinction of being the only defending champ to lose here. And this was one of the best points of the day. That was to take him to 2 sets to 1 down. And now, Bill, he is playing the best I've ever seen him. And this, I am looking forward to this. This should be a fantastic match.
How do you think these two match up?
I think Pete's the better player, the more talented player. He's got a little bit more, but Rafter is better at net. And clearly, if he can have his net game going, hang on to his serve, then you never know.
2 heavyweights, the defending champion, and the man who won here at the age of 19. And we asked Patrick about playing Pete Sampras.
I don't try to think too much about the situation or try to get overawed by him. You know, he's a fantastic player, and it's a player I've always looked up to. And I've just got to knuckle down and play my game. And if he can beat me at my game, then you just got to take your hat off to him.
First set at Rafter to serve.
And his game, Bill, is serve volley and take away the net.
Sampras is going to have to do a lot of this today.
Well, he was disappointed with the way he returned against Patrick in Cincinnati, and he's very intent on getting off to a good start, and clearly that first point he did. Remember, Rafter served, as Mary pointed out earlier, 69% for the tournament, so he wants to try to intimidate him early, make him go for more than he's comfortable with. That first point may have done it. He went for a big second serve, throws in a double.
For love 30.
Patrick's got to go pretty big on his second serves because he likes to serve and volley on second serves as well. He can't come in on a bluff against Sampras.
Oh! 15-13.
And certainly in the last year and a half, he's developed more bite on that first serve, a little bit more pace. He's always placed it well, but this allows him to mix things up a little more easily.
And it's got to make anybody jumpy, even Pete Sampras, to see a guy coming in behind anything, as Rafter does. Always got to come up with passing shots.
30-all.
And that's what Rafter does. That's different from, say, Goran Ivanisevic or Mark Philippoussis until lately. He's looking for that first volley. He's not looking to blow away Sampras on his serve. He's looking to create a good volley for himself. Oh, that's lovely.
They're both ready.
40-13.
Patrick Rafter's become the best player in the world at net. Kept cool on that low backhand volley, and that overhead from behind the baseline. A heck of a shot there.
Game Rafter. First game.
So Rafter holds to start the match.
And now this tournament summary, sponsored by Fidelity Investments.
And a look at our tournament summary. Philippoussis had to save 3 match points the other night against Johansson. And Davenport, the first American-born women's champion since Chris Evert in '82. And Hingis will stay number 1.
Pete Sampras.
From above, the USTA National Tennis Center, Arthur Ashe Stadium, first service game for Pete Sampras.
Talked to Paul Annacone before the match. They want to make sure they hold serve consistently. They feel that if they're able to maintain easy service games, there's Paul right there. He's done a great job with Pete over the years. That would put pressure on Rafter. The other thing is on the second serve to go after his second serve. They felt like they waited on it too long in their last match in Cincinnati. Patrick Rafter is currently ranked 3 in the world. 5 career titles, 5 titles this year, 7 career titles.
Had won 16 of 17 matches coming into the Open.
He'd played plenty of tennis coming in. As a matter of fact, there was a danger perhaps he'd play too much. Sampras hasn't won since Wimbledon. But as he said before, he's concerned about the slams, tying and breaking this record. He's not concerned about those little tournaments.
128 miles an hour. Sampras holds it love. And it's a New York tradition. World-class tennis on the courts. CBS Sports on the ground and up above the Fujifilm blimp.
Their record head-to-head, by the way, 8-2 in Sampras' favor. Rafter had won the first. Sampras had won 8 straight. Patrick had finally got back at him in Cincinnati about a month ago. That last meeting, Sampras came roaring out, had a break point. He thought he got a bum call, 4-all break point in the second, dropped the breaker, and then thought he got a bad call on match point. Or so he thought.
But the real story of the match was what a stayer Pat Rafter was after getting blown out in that first set. Gutted it out, as Sampras said later.
15-all.
And that's, look what Pete wants to do. See, he's standing inside the baseline. He wants to take the ball early before it jumps up on him. Did a good job there, got nice and low. Rafter unable to handle the volley. He didn't miss it by much, though.
Rafter was using that big kick serve high into the Sampras backhand in Cincinnati. Pete's trying to cut that off. See, he's going for it. That's just a shot he's going for. That's his second double fault.
That's exactly what he's trying to do, Mary. He's not going to let that ball kick up above his shoulder. Rafter, however, succeeded there. The other serve they're going to watch out for is the one into the body. Rafter, one of the few players playing now that really utilizes that serve effectively. He hurt Pete with it as well in Cincinnati.
And again, it's because he's looking for a volley, and you'll get a volley if you go into somebody's body effectively.
Let's pass off.
He normally puts such a premium on placement, Rafter. Just trying to get a little too close to these lines with a lot of pace.
Let's second serve.
He's got to make sure he doesn't give Sampras a look at too many second serves.
Well, he didn't beat Sampras last year here, so he wants to prove he can win this thing by beating one of the greatest players of all time. A little uptight out there early.
40-30.
40-30. College football. Penn State. It's Joe Paterno, win number 300. And Tim Couch, the Heisman Trophy candidate, quarterback at Kentucky, 4 touchdown passes after a great week last week. Penn State will be on CBS
Game
next weekend. 2-1 first set.
Rafter.
First point. Pete Sampras, second serve.
15 love.
There's a wicked serve into the body. Rafter almost hit a winner anyway, just wide.
Rafter's, I can't believe where he's returning from. A lot of these big serves, and he's not far behind the baseline, sometimes right up against it.
Sampras doesn't have a bad second serve either, so he doesn't want that ball to kick up too high.
Yeah.
15-all.
Bought that off nicely.
And he's a pretty good, got some pretty good looking muscles. He's strong enough to use that strength to just guide that ball up the line for a winner.
$30-15.
30-15.
For years, people have been saying to Sampras, why don't you serve and volley more? Why don't you come in more? I mean, obviously he does it on grass at Wimbledon. He kind of tends to hang back a little bit more than a lot of us think he should. But against Rafter, he is going to come in more. He's got to take that net away from Patrick.
Also, even Pete realizes this court's playing very fast. He's talked about, he was complaining about me during the tournament. He doesn't like playing these big servers on these fast courts.
They're not too thrilled playing him.
No, well, he figures he can hold on any surface. It doesn't matter how slow the hard court is. That's why he's more concerned about his return game. And this gives Rafter a little bit more zip on his serve, which is not quite as big as Pete's.
Let's second serve.
The ultimate defensive lock.
There's 2 service games for Sampras, and has lost just 1 point. And let's go down to Pam Schreiber. Pam?
Well, thanks, Bill. I'm with one of the great jewels of our sport, Don Budge, who 60 years ago won the Grand Slam. We always talk about Grand Slams, but the is all 4 in the U.S. was the last one. What do you remember about it 60 years ago?
Well, I remember that there was a hurricane in New York that year, and the match was postponed to 7 whole days before I got to win in the finals.
So no practice for 7 days?
No. Gene Mako, my doubles partner, and I used to go hear Tommy Darcy's orchestra. He was playing in New York. We used to dance a lot to keep in shape.
There you go. Good footwork. Now, what about this match here? I know you have a lot of interest with Pete, and now with the way Rafter plays. What do you think about this match?
Well, it has to be a good one because I love the way Pete plays. I think I said after he won his first U.S. Open, I said, Pete, you're going to be the next guy to win the Grand Slam. I didn't realize he couldn't play too well on clay. But as Rod Laver said, he doesn't discipline himself properly. He said, before you won the French Championship, you went to Forest Hills and practiced on clay for 2 weeks beforehand. He said, Pete doesn't do that. He may play in a clay tournament, but that's not like practicing.
Well, we know how tough it is because no one's done it since 60 years. And congratulations then, and we'll see you here next year. Back upstairs.
All right, Pam.
listen, if you told Pete Sampras all he had to do to win the French was go practice for a couple of weeks at Forest Hills and not play tournaments, that'd be music to his ears.
Always great to see Mr. Budge
really
out
is.
here.
He's been struggling, but he's looking good now. Can you imagine these guys waiting 7 days to play the final? There's that serve into the body. Pete knows it's coming, but it's not easy to deal with whether you know it or not.
On serve, 3-2.
A Rafter lead.
Pete Sampras attempting to match Jimmy Connor's open-era record of 5 U.S. Open titles, in addition to the Roy Emerson record. Love 15.
Tosses in his first double.
He's only gotten one first serve in so far in this match.
Serving at
and he's
10%.
only lost 2 points. So
15-all.
Philippoussis-like second serve.
110 miles an hour. Second ace.
Wants to show Mark, in case he's watching and they play in the final, I can do the same thing you can. Surprised at all the meetings. This is their 11th meeting. Never once in a Grand Slam have they played.
30-15.
There's that serve he utilizes so effectively at Wimbledon. Takes something off it. A well-placed serve out wide on the deuce court.
40-15.
And he powers in the big one up the middle. Regroups here quickly now to 40-15.
Game. Easy service game for Sampras. 3-all.
3-all.
And based on a story of real-life gangsters, Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, and Joe Pesci star in the network television premiere of Goodfellas on CBS Sunday. Here at the National Tennis Center, Patrick Rafter serves at 3-all first set.
A good fellow himself, Rafter. Voted the most popular sportsman in Australia, beating Greg Norman and Michael Jordan. He's a lot more of a hero in Australia than Mark Philippoussis, who's made his way into his first major final. Philippoussis it's been an acrimonious last year for Philippoussis, not playing Davis Cup. Pat Rafter, a stalwart member of the team. And much more of your classic dinkum Aussie than Philippoussis. But the success of the Aussies in this year's U.S. Open is taking a lot of attention away from the football finals, which is a huge deal there. There's rugby league finals going on right now, Australian rules football finals going on. Pat Rafter, Mark Philippoussis, still playing on the final weekend of the U.S. Open is very big news indeed.
Pete Sampras breaking a string on that return. That ball kicked up too high on him, but he's got plenty to go to. Usually see him break 3 or 4 a match anyway. Strings extremely tight. Restrings all his rackets, whether he plays with them or not, for the next match. So he uses a fair amount of gut. Philippoussis, by the way, unseeded like Agassi. Agassi, the only guy in history to be unseeded and win this in 94. Mark with a chance tomorrow at 4 p.m. right here on CBS. After the Giants whip the Ravens. Excuse me, the Jets whip the Ravens.
40-15. Game wrapped up.
Solid service game from Rafter. Still on serve first set.
Rafter leads 4-3.
Back at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Second serve on the first point in the 8th game of the first set for Sampras. Let's take a look at the service profile for Pete Sampras.
He's not getting many in, but it doesn't seem to matter. Very healthy numbers on second serve.
Well, he's not terribly impressed with Rafter's ground strokes. I mean, he feels that's where he really outclasses him. Paul Annacone felt he went a little bit too much to Patrick Rafter's backhand in their previous encounter. Most people feel, there's Paul, feel that Patrick's a little solider off the backhand side, a little bit up and down on that forehand. Similar to Stefan Edberg. Paul and his wife Tracy sitting next to him. But Edberg ended up winning this thing twice, and Patrick Rafter looking to successfully defend his title. Sampras with new balls on a quick hard court with a little bit of wind behind him. You talk about a daunting task trying to break.
$40-15.
The towel on the back of the court has affected Pete a little bit there near one of the ball boys. Just enough to throw off his concentration for a second. He throws in a double.
His second double fault, 40-30.
Game Sampras.
So close. 4-all, and tomorrow on the NFL Today, Jim Nantz, Marcus Allen, Brent Jones, and George Seifert will have all the latest news and information. Plus, Marcus visits with Detroit running back Barry Sanders. Bonnie Bernstein has the story of Derek Thomas, the Kansas City sack master, who had 6 sacks last week against the Raiders. That's all coming up tomorrow, noon Eastern, on the NFL Today. Judd Hirsch there on the left.
Rafter's got an absolutely exquisite backhand volley. Like his coach, Tony Roach. Tony was a lefty, but he had what I consider the greatest backhand volley in the history of the game. Until a guy by the name of Stefan Edberg came along. Patrick Rafter doing a pretty good job following up. There's Tony Roach there. A couple times got to the finals of the Open. Once when Rod Laver completed his Grand Slam. That match was held over in '69 too, another day because of rain. And a couple thousand people, Bill, there to see that. Sort of reminds you of that Roger Maris-Martin McGuire comparison.
30-15.
Pete Sampras with a chance to level at 12. You better believe there'll be a lot more people tomorrow at 4. Here's what Patrick Rafter does so well. At the feet, waist level, up high, it doesn't matter.
touch for 40-15.
Are there two better jocks in men's tennis? I don't think so. Aren't these the two best jocks in the game right here?
Well, they're certainly way up there. Yeah, it'd be pretty hard pressed to find better athletes. Alex Courageous is a pretty fit guy. He's considered one of the fittest guys around, but on this surface, different story for poor old Alex.
Game Rafter.
Still on serve at 5-4. Both players dominant on their serves. We haven't even had a deuce yet. 9 games in.
Pretty impressive to be dominating if you're Pete Sampras and you're serving at 30%.
15 love.
Well, at Wimbledon, when you talk to him, he says the key to winning there is the second serve and the return. And so he's done an excellent job with the second serve. Obviously, he'd like to do better on the first. He hasn't had a problem. No pressure yet, Rafter. Then he takes something off the first serve to get it in and dumps a half volley there with that backhand attempt. Couldn't quite decide what to do and ended up jumping up on him.
First point that Pete has lost on his first serve. Answers with an ace at 132. Fourth of the match.
Straighten things out in a hurry there.
That's the thing. He goofs up and then he takes it out on Rafter. Another big one.
Quickly to 40-15. Help the first serve percentage there. 5-all.
5-all.
And the great aerial shots you've been seeing today are being brought to you courtesy of the Fujifilm Blimp and the folks at Fujifilm America, proud sponsor of 1998 U.S. Open. Big return.
That's exactly what Paul Annacone wanted from Pete. Take the ball early before it gets up too high. Right around shoulder height or a little below. And he's got that body weight at least moving towards the ball. And he had an absolutely first-class return there. He was so quick that he got up to the angle where he could tell the ball was going out and then let it go. If he hadn't been that quick getting to the net, he probably would have hit the volley. He's going to need to start coming over that a little bit more. He's trying to hit that return flat. Ball's flown on him. Too much junk from Rafter.
When we come back, Sampras will try to send us to a first set tiebreak. Second serve for Pete Sampras. In 11 games, there have been only 13 points against serve.
Lock 15.
Third double fault. Christy Yamaguchi among those in attendance today. Beautiful late afternoon. Gold medalist in 1992.
Come on, mate, he's telling himself.
15 all.
Sampras gave him a gift with that double fault. He had another look at his second serve. Thought he had a sniff at something good and missed that one. Let's face it, if it goes like this, there's nothing between these two. It'll be decided by a tiebreak.
Rafter, however, is aware that Pete is not serving up to his capabilities, and he needs to take advantage. But that's too good on the second serve. That's awesome second serve.
If you can serve like that with second serves, you don't feel the sting of only being of only putting in 36% first serves. Here comes another sniff at a second.
Neither player knocking him dead. Sampras 1 out of 3. There we go.
6-8.
6-all. First set tiebreak.
That's about as good a look as Pete's going to get. He tried to run around the backhand. He's got a huge forehand, but dumped that in the middle of the net. Putting more and more pressure on yourself as Pete tosses in his fourth double. You don't want to have to keep hitting second serves. I think as things get a little tight in the tiebreak. You want to bank on that.
Had a crack at it. The right thing to do. Didn't miss by much.
He was so excited at a legitimate shot. I think he tried to hit it too hard.
Yep.
Against about 99 of the top 100 players, you get away with a volley like that. He just gave Pete Sampras one more chance and just screamer up the line. I'm about to pump the fist, but I don't want to get too excited quite yet. It's just the first set tiebreak.
Oh.
3-2. Sampras.
Put that down as a major mistake for Rafters. It was a pretty high return. I think Rafter was wondering whether or not that would fall wide. Perhaps that contributed to the error, but that could be a costly one. That's one of those things where that running forehand of Pete's isn't just worth 1 point. That could be worth a whole tiebreak.
Well, he was thinking about it because he probably should have hit the caliber he can volley, put that volley away. And Sampras does get in a first serve, and either switch sides. Pete with in charge here.
Think this helped? And blowing it.
I'm not sure that mattered a whole lot, but it's a thought that counts.
Pete has a slight edge in their tie breaks. He's won 5 of 9, but Rafter has won the last 2.
These two played in the Davis Cup just after last year's U.S. Open. Rafter won the first set tiebreak, and then John Newcomb, who was sitting on the changer with him, says, great stuff, now brace yourself and take a couple of breaths.
That's going to drop in.
Good. Rafter said, why to Nuke? And Nuke said, this guy's been #1 for 5 years. You think he'll stand for this stuff?
He didn't.
He didn't. Gorgeous lob. Terrific control on the dead run from Rafter.
Well, that was
He's still in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been 2-5 instead of 3-4. That was big time there.
Nice recovery from Patrick Rafter. By the way, in that Davis Cup match, Pete ended up winning the next couple of sets, 1-1 and 4. So Rafter knows what he's up against.
This is the shot Pete should have done more with. He mishit it once again, and Rafter too good there to have problems with that volley. He's choked twice. 2 backhand volleys in the net, and that may cost him the first set. Once again, ball well above the shoulders. He hadn't missed it the entire set, but did there. Shot.
Muscled that one.
Exactly, because that ball was behind him. I mean, he had you better be strong. Sampras can only look and say, no, there's no possible way he could do it from that position.
That's a fitness winner right there.
And that's just after you miss an easy backhand volley. It's a good job. And look at this. Sampras tosses in double fault number 5. And Patrick Rafter with set point here in the first set.
It's the Aussie way, isn't it? Hang around, mate. Good things will happen. He's got a chance now to tuck away the first set.
Big time power from Pete. He's put some pretty good zip on that. And this one, he's got way too much time. Sees Rafter move over to the forehand side. Guides it up the line to level at 6-all as they switch sides. Just wide. Just wide.
AccuView MacCam.
That would have had the crowd rocking if that had gone in.
Second set point.
Toss way too low there for Pete. Second serve, down set point. That's a classic example of letting the ball jump up on you there. Just tighten up a little. That ball had some nasty spin into his body. Never really had a shot at it.
Sampras.
130. And a set point for Sampras.
Let's press on.
Oh, man. Rafter said that's impossible. We're from the same country. Don't call that on me.
Wayne McEwen is the man in the chair.
By the way, Wayne McEwen did not call that. It was a machine. Still set point for Sampras. He went to the exact opposite place. It hit a beautifully hit serve out wide. Decides to go up the middle. Maybe a little tentative on the volley. Gave Pete a chance, and Pete just looking to get it over. Not even close. 8-all. A lot closer there.
9-8.
Rafter didn't get the angle he wanted, and Pete made him pay big time. And he's pumped. He gets the crowd pumped up into it.
His second set point.
Good idea for Pete to pick his spots like that.
He's been watching McGuire all week. All week, I'm telling you. He doesn't want to just be a tennis champion anymore. He wants to be an American hero.
7-6. Sampras wins the tiebreak.
What a point to end it. Rafter had this shot all lined up.
And CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open will continue after this word from your local station.
Take a look once again at the end of this set. Set point, Sampras with the great stretch. Watch him scramble back to make an attempt at Patrick Rafter's shot that he missed, but more importantly, that reaction. You talk about un-Sampras-like. Super excited to pull out that first set in the breaker.
It's amazing how many athletes impacted by what Mark McGuire has been doing. Love 15. Something disturbing Pete.
All.
15-all. Pete Sampras, obviously, as Mary mentioned, inspired by the hero status. Mark McGuire. Lindsay Davenport said she wept openly.
Yep.
When Mark McGuire crossed the plate.
Oh, the whole
held his son and.
Oh yeah. All those amazing images were played through the locker rooms all week long here.
Pete's been mixing it up, going mainly to Rafter's backhand. That's a bit surprising, actually. I think Rafter's a little solider, but I don't think Sampras is all too concerned about either side. If he serves up to his capabilities, which he hasn't done so far. Patrick Rafter should really be concerned. First set, the match now, he's about 37%. So if he gets up to 50, 60, he served 68% for the tournament last year at Wimbledon. I mean, he's nowhere near that.
See,
that's a good example there. That forehand really went off on him. He's just trying to push it back and floated it well long. That could have given Rafter break point. At least ease the pain of losing that first set if he could get off to a quick start here.
What Pete knows so well is that no matter how well he might be playing, no matter how many extraordinary shots he makes on the runner serves, Rafter is going to be right there facing him, looking like a downhill or returning serve, ready for the next point. In his tuck.
Advantage Sampras.
And he'll just keep coming at you, Pat Rafter. And that puts pressure on anyone. Even Sampras.
Boy, he really misplayed that. He knows the court's fast. The ball skidded. He didn't seem ready at all to hit that approach. It's like he didn't really want to do it. It looked like he was, well, I might as well come in before Rafter comes in. Breaks another string. Second one of the match. You string him that tight and hit it that hard, you'll see 3, 4, 5 rackets break each match he plays in a best-of-5 set encounter.
Patrick Rafter strings his a lot looser, 66 pounds.
Mark Philippoussis already in the final, and Lindsay Davenport is the Women's U.S. Open champion.
Let me just say that I'm guessing that Pete watched Lindsay win and says, I want to win for my country too.
Advantage Sampras.
If he wanted to win for his country more, Mary, he'd be playing Davis Cup.
Good point.
I think he's worried about that record, you know, breaking that record.
He has not availed himself to play the semifinal tie, U.S. against Italy. Andre Agassi has been the stalwart member of the Davis Cup team for years, really since you, John. Nobody's played as much. Jim Courier has always availed himself to Todd Martin. Frankly, I think it's been disappointing to a lot of us that Sampras hasn't played more. He's going for personal history.
Not up.
And I do like that. That means so much to Pete Sampras.
Sampras holds.
First game, second set.
And a look down at packed Arthur Ashe Stadium. Second game, second set.
15 love.
Certainly looks like a match they play at Wimbledon. Strict serve volley, no breaks. Rafter likes these courts better, and Pete likes the grass a little bit better, so that's why you're seeing an extremely equal encounter so far.
30 love.
First ace.
Game Rafter.
Rafter holds it love. 1-all.
1-all.
Well, she's smart, she's sexy, and she's funny. What else do you want? Faith Ford is Maggie Winters. Gets the series premiere Wednesday, September 30th on CBS. Sampras now 1-all.
Oh, wow. Really got his racket through the ball. Created a nice opening for himself, Sampras. Beeped it up there, really whipped that around and got Rafter in a defensive position at the net.
It shows you how eager Rafter is to get in. The moment he saw Sampras staying back, he hasn't done that much. In he tried to zip to the net.
Time of the match right at 1 hour.
To no avail that time. Pete waited too long to hit that volley. Let it drop too low. Swung well wide on him.
Rafter made him pay.
Yeah, he knows he should have put that away. Didn't do enough with it. Rafter guessed right. Still didn't expect to hit that good a shot. At least Pete didn't think he would. Just blocked it back, angled properly. Now at 15-30. Boy, that was as bad as you see Pete play a point. After hitting a big serve, he just was shocked that the ball came back to him. Rafter scrambling desperately and beautifully to get that ball back, and finally, Bill, we can say break point. We haven't said that this match. Oh no!
Rafter grabs it by the throat.
Rafter leads 2-1.
Pete Sampras is going to try to forget about this game as soon as possible. We'll be back after these messages.
After winning the first break point of the match,
15 love.
Rafter serving at 2-1 and wins the first point of the game.
We talked about this on the changeover, Mary, how Rafter just looks more comfortable out there. This is his type of match, the serve and volley. Sampras not looking thrilled.
Sprays that. 30 love. Let's go once again to Pam Shriver.
Well, thanks, Bill. I'm with Tony Roach, the Davis Cup coach for Australia. And Tony, not much in the match, but what are the little subtle things in a match like this that you look at to say that your guy's playing a good match?
Well, it's important for Pat to do the simple things well, and that's obviously first serve, first volley. And I've been a little disappointed with that part of his game. I mean, that's been his real strength during the tournament, and he's been serving, I think, around 69-70% during the tournament, but he's nowhere near that today, or certainly wasn't in that first set. So it's important for Pat to get back to that, really just doing that well. And Pete, to break serve, has got to play 4 good points. I mean, that's the whole ball game right there.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. Back upstairs.
All right, Pam. Fair assessment?
Well, Rafter's serving pretty good numbers. 59% for the match. Roche wants it a little healthier than that. But this set, he's serving at 88%, and he's up a break. And John, what we were talking about on that last changeover after watching Pete get broken, Pete seems to be making the assumption that he's got to get in to always be up at the net as Rafter's doing. And you can just tell it's not what he really wants to be doing, point after point. Rafter wants that. Pete doesn't.
I think you're going to start seeing him mix it up, just to make himself feel better and keep Rafter a little bit more off balance. That's what I expected from the beginning, but he's pretty much, as you pointed out, serve volleyed on both serves, and now he tosses in a double fault. He's frustrated right now.
Usually, it's pretty hard to knock Pete Sampras off his own game plan. And now it's like he thinks, well, I've got to combat Rafter's attacking style and take it to him. And it hasn't been working too well for Sampras lately.
15-all.
Pete cutting into the Rafter run. 15-all.
Pete, by the way, for the match is still under 40%, and that's not going to make him feel any better either. Making things tougher than he needs to so far.
30-15.
Well, getting that first serve, the last point, it jumped it up to 39%. And he's done a pretty good job on second serve points won, which is why he pulled out that first set. He'd be down a set and a break at the end. Rafter certainly got some more bounce to his step. Sampras with a big first serve. Rafter just blocks it nice and low, and once he's got a hit up, that's a lazy way to hit a half volley. Just sort of stick your racket out, didn't really bend the knees. And Rafter made him pay for it. Well, suddenly, no one had a break point the entire first set. Rafter's got another break point to go up 2 breaks and pretty much put this set away. Sampras going for too much on that drop volley.
Juice.
And serve 120 miles an hour right down the middle.
Advantage Sampras.
Now the first serve starting to go in with more frequency, pulling him out of trouble this game.
Oh, that's an unbelievable point from Patrick Rafter.
And you notice that little head fake at the end there, Mary?
This shot squirted off the sideline, and Rafter still came up with this angle, which kept him in the point and let him find the open water.
Advantage Sampras.
Looked just wide there. Rafter looking at another second serve. Pete there, that ball clipped the tape. Possible to deal with that volley.
Men's semifinals at Arthur Ashe Stadium, the USTA National Tennis Center. Pete Sampras, Patrick Rafter. Sampras winning the first set tiebreak after up a break here in the second. Sampras serving 1-3. Has already fought off 1 break point.
Advantage Sampras.
Just joining us, Mark Philippoussis, an Aussie in the final. And Lindsay Davenport is the women's champion. Crowd reacting to something that was said.
Thank you.
We apologize that we didn't hear what was said. We'd love to share it with you.
Game, Sampras.
3-2 second set.
Rafter leads 3.
Patrick Rafter, after losing the first set in a tiebreak, trying to hang on to his service break here in the second set.
15 love.
Wins the first point for 15 love.
Love.
Second ace. It was only 94 miles an hour.
Right smack on both lines. Gets the job done. See, that's what kids should try to do when they're growing up playing the game. Instead of trying to hit in every serve as hard as they possibly can, they should first work on their placement. Once they got that down pat, then they can start trying to hit it harder and harder.
Is it harder to teach placement or power, though?
I think it's harder to teach placement. That's why you have to work on that at an earlier age. To get a little stronger, then you start popping the big one.
40-15.
Apparently, Mayor, we've heard some of that commotion the last game was yours truly, Donald Trump, who is a big-time tennis fan. He's been out here almost every day. We also know that we mention his name, that we'll put him on TV too, so that never hurts.
Rafter leads 4-2.
4-2 Rafter.
There's the Donald Trump suite is right next to our CBS booth. And in that last game, at game point, some fan yelled, "Hey, Donald, who's the blonde?" That's what got this place giggling. There's a herd of blondes in there.
Which one they're talking about? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened the last time he got broken? He gave Rafter second chances. Another volley he could have done a little more with, but Rafter reply was out of this world.
Love 15.
So not only is Sampras volleying, it seems, more than he really feels like it, but he's not hurting his volleys enough to win the points.
Love 13.
And that's causing pressure on his serve, too.
7th double fault.
Says, I don't even want a volley. I'll go for a bigger second. And he's went for too much there. Clipped the top of the tape. Rafter looking to put this second set away once and for all.
Found the corner.
That's about as close as you can possibly hit a ball with it still being in.
And Rafter still had a whack at it. I mean, if you've got to play this well to force Rafter into error, it's going to be a tough day.
30-all.
Cloud covering, cooling things out, cooling things down out there. Wind picking up a bit as well. Thankfully, that hasn't been a problem today.
40-13.
3 straight points from Sampras, recovering from love 30.
When you have all those chances to get a second break and don't, puts a little bit more pressure on you when you're trying to finish off the set. That's what Pete wants to accomplish here. Get the pressure back on Rafter. You feel that Pete's feeling it more than Patrick is right now.
Sampras holds 4-3 in our coverage of the U.S. Open. We'll continue after this word from your local station. Well, defending champion Patrick Rafter down a set, but up a break here in the second. Let's send you down to Pam Shriver.
Well, thanks, Bill. I'm with Paul Annacone, Pete Sampras' coach of 4 years, and you are taking very detailed notes. Page number 3 of your little pad. What are you writing down?
I'm mostly keeping track of the return games. I want to see how much pressure Pete can put on Patrick's serve, because you have to do one of two things. You either have to return real decisively or hold your serve easily. And Pete's service percentage isn't great so far, so I want to make sure that he's doing the right things on the return game. But Pat's serving very efficiently, real smart.
On Pete's serve, I mean, his first serve percentage first set was very low. What things does he do that that you can pick up that he's not doing well that causes him a low service percentage?
Well, if he's missing them one place or another, it's easy to tell, but he seems to be missing them all over, net and long. So to me, it just looks like his motion's a little bit quick at the beginning. He likes to serve fast, but I think the rhythm and the tempo is just a little bit fast at the start. Which, I think he'll calm it down as the match goes on.
Well, that last backhand return, is that more what you want to see on the backhand return? Just hit flat out?
Yeah, you got to do. I think you have to mix it up with Pat because he's such a good volleyer. That was a good body serve, but Pete kept it out in front and hit it pretty aggressively. As long as you keep making him work, I think that inevitably, as good as Pete is, he can get a couple good clean hits on the ball.
Thanks, Paul. Carry on with your notes. Back upstairs.
30 all.
Back to 30 all. Back to the notes. John, do you ever keep notes? Anybody ever keep them for you?
Nope. Just play it by ear. But my record isn't Pete Sampras, so maybe in my next, maybe on the seniors tour. Maybe let's just start that now.
I'll buy you a pad.
Thanks, Bill. That's very kind of you. The salary you make here, I can see why.
40-30.
Game Rafter.
That's an incredible angle on the ad court for a righty.
Fourth ace. And hovering overhead to bring you a glimpse eye view of Flushing Meadows Corona Park in the USTA National Tennis Center, the Fujifilm Blimp, with captains John McHugh and Dave Burns at the controls.
You want to stop on a dime as few times as possible on a tennis court, because that's a little strain on the legs. So that's why you saw Patrick Rafter run about another 20 yards on that attempt at that drop volley by Pete Sampras. Just calm things down slowly there. Don't pull something when the point's over.
Both pretty good numbers, but Rafter very, very strong at the net. And the thing is, it's not only Rafter's first volley that's so good. His third volley is the best in the business. You know what I mean? I mean, that guy can stay a rally at the net, hang around, track the ball so well because he's got such a good feel for where the returns are going to go, where the passes are going to go. And that's something I really do think he does better than Sampras. He does it all the time.
Game Sampras.
Does that pretty well, too. Eighth ace. Well, Patrick Rafter serving for the second set.
Incredibly, until that serve, 90% first serve percentage this set for Rafter.
And he's lost just 4 points so far in set 2 serving.
15 long.
Lets that go well long. 3 points from leveling this match. And that's, say that's an impressive number. It's an understatement.
Love.
2 returns left. 2 points from leveling this match.
Sorry, mate. Didn't take a swing at it, so it's not as distracting. But Agassi hated facing that against Kuchera endless times. In the match that Kuchera ended up winning in 5 sets. So that was lovely of Rafter to say, sorry, mate. Oh, boy.
30-15.
5th double fault. Remember, coming into this game, he'd only missed 2 first serves in the 2nd set. Beautifully placed there. Had some work on it too. 102-mile-an-hour serve into the corner pocket. Gives him a set point.
Rafter, 6-4. 1 set all.
Shea Stadium across the way. And here at the USTA National Tennis Center, Arthur Ashe Stadium,
This is not a change of ends.
Pete Sampras